So that's her. Okay. So
yeah, well, we're recording now, so let's not say. Yeah.
No, it's good to know. Like, I'm not. No.
Let's go.
This is the Grow Business Podcast with Cory Mosley.
Not gonna catch me on a hot mic moment.
It's a setup.
Yeah, that's what NDAs are for. You gotta destroy all.
Right, exactly.
I don't even want to know what's been recorded without my knowledge. Without my knowledge,
all of it.
That's the key. Yeah, well, that's why it's in page 622 of the handbook, section 3.1. Thou shalt not leaveth with any information that thou shalt not have.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go. I was a writer in another life. Well, hello. You're in the right place. In case you were wondering, you are here. We are here. This is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm waiting for okay. Willie H. We take 2 steps forward and then we take 2 steps back. Let's try this again. This is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. There we go. I got to do the pregnant pause. And I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the LG007. Lon Graham is here.
Voice of reason.
Yes.
here,
And the guy starter stepping in the beginning is none other than Willie H.
Hit the buttons, William.
All right. Folks, I think we have done it.
Nailed it.
By Scott. What is it? What did he say? By Scott. I think you've done it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it? Oh, by George. I think he's done it.
Oh, the movie.
Wasn't that Back to the Future?
Yeah. But
Great Scott. Yeah, Great Scott. Yeah. What did I say? By Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, Great Scott. That was Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we were both right. By George and right. Great Scott. Yeah. Right. All right. Well,
we got together and had a pregnant pause.
Folks, we figured it out. That's what's important. We figured it out here. I'm feeling good. I had a nice lunch.
Yay.
Yeah. There you go. See, Lon does his own effects also. Had a nice lunch. Today was BOGO. Or half or BOGO. One of those, which was a good reason here. So gonna have to get them once we get to that like million stream mark. I'm gonna go. They need to give us some money. I got Starbucks cups and things on here. I think we're gonna need to talk sponsorship at that point. I'm
exactly.
thinking. Well, we are welcome. We're welcome. No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm welcome. We are excited and thrilled to have you guys back with us for another show. Lon's been getting mobbed in the streets lately. It's like, oh, you're the guy from the podcast.
That's right, LG007.
Yeah, okay. Willie H trying out some new stuff. Well, today we're gonna start. I'm going to do this thing. So for the next few episodes, I'm just gonna see how it feels. I like it because it's the Grow Business Podcast. I get emails. We get emails from people and like, oh, great. I'd love to be a guest. I said, we don't do guests. It's not a guest-driven show.
Right.
We have co-hosts.
Yes.
And we don't talk about you. Right? So you got to deter, we're not interviewing you. So even if you are a guest, because we have that on occasion when LG likes to, fly the coop, not be available.
Hold on.
He's a busy man. He's a busy man. I say it's not about I'm not gonna ask you about yourself or your thoughts on things. We're gonna have our topic and then we're gonna comment on the topic. So and then they go, oh, okay, well,
never mind.
Yeah, and you need to be here in studio, so you need to come to Virginia. Oh, okay. I thought that tells me that you don't watch the podcast,
right?
You don't watch it or you don't listen to it properly because you know that. Right. So all you folks out there with your blind solicitations, insert the blank.
Right.
Beware. We know what you're doing.
Well, 100%. Good news is, though, that if people are blind soliciting the podcast, that means that they're finding it other than the podcast.
That is important.
So they're getting.
Well,
everything.
I had shared. I think we're number 1 in Lagos right now. I think. I remember. It reminds when I say that. It reminds me of Martin Lawrence, who we know him from Bad Boys in the Show, but obviously he comes from stand up. So years and years ago, he had a stand up special, and he, the topic came. A lot of comedians always talked about Michael Jackson, people like that, and their thing, and they're like, you know a guy's bad when he's jamming in Bucharest. If you big in Bucharest, you big, because they don't like it, they'll blow some stuff up. So it was just a comedic, don't cancel anybody. It was not me, it was Martin, but he was making just a funny point. So yeah, we're big in Lagos. How's that make you? Yeah, you go down there like LG 007.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't play golf because they'll get me in the middle of a backswing.
Yeah, we'll take this. We need to take this on the road. All right, so we're trying something new for a few. At least we'll do it for a few episodes.
Okay.
We're gonna do this pros and cons.
Oh, okay.
So instead of just being a situation where we talk about the topic and like we're like, because as we've said from day one, as I've maintained, this is not a guru show. Right. Where we're like, we know all and all will be revealed. And, we're just going to tell you what you need to do in your business. So I've decided for the next few episodes, we're going to try this with this pros and cons. So we're going to talk about an idea. So today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of making decisive decisions. For small business owners, right? What are the pluses? There's some obvious pluses, but what are the drawbacks? What are the pros and cons? So we're going to tackle pros and cons, and ultimately, for everybody. And I say this to clients: I may give advice or talk strategy, but I always end the conversation with, "It's your business." Right. So you can make the decision, because you'll have to live with the decision. You live with the upside. We live with the upsides of our decisions, and we live with the downsides to some of our decisions. So, what do you think about that? How do you feel? How do you feel about this pros and cons thing?
Well, I like it, and one of the things I like about it is every decision requires an exchange, right? You have to give something and you get something, and so by talking about the pros and cons, it creates a little bit more of a balance for decision making in whatever topics we're talking about. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, and you've heard my philosophy many times on, this idea that I believe people live in too many different extremes. Like they live in extremes.
Yes.
It's whether too far to the right, too far to the left. Like people forget the middle ground. It's like, you better not be in that. You better not go out past 11 o'clock. You'll get stabbed. Like you probably won't. You probably won't get stabbed. Right. But it's like that. Particularly, I find that particularly interesting. When you are trying to make a point.
Yes.
And somebody's method of not having a good old-fashioned Lincoln Douglas debate, right, is to say something, create a ridiculous scenario that's not probable, but to make it extreme. And, I encourage people to not do that.
Well, people take it to an illogical extreme to defend their point.
Well, we remember, and we reference best and worst.
Correct.
Best experience, worst experience.
Right.
The middle. What's the 30-second party you've ever been to, Lon? Where was it? Who was there? What did you do? Right?
Exactly.
What's the worst party you've been to?
Right.
Exactly. Now we're, if you can remember. But so I think life is not about extremes, and even from the business perspective or looking at that. But you and I both know, we know a lot of people have been in a lot of scenarios where people, they will belabor a decision until the opportunity's passed. Right. There's somebody still sitting around going, I should have gotten Apple stock.
Lord have mercy.
Willie H. sharp on the buttons today.
Nailed that one.
But there's still people talking about that.
Right.
Looking through that, driving. Tony Robbins said you can't go through life, or he's at least who I credit for. You can't go through life driving through your rearview mirror. Right. So, but I think there's so many things. So I'm going to try this in reverse. I'm going to talk about cons first.
Okay.
And then we'll reverse it.
We'll figure it.
And then we'll go pros.
Run with it. Right.
All right. So let's talk about pro. I mean, because obviously I am very pro decisive, decision making. I mean, just in general, right? Particularly if you're talking about doing business, doing deals.
Right.
I talked to someone today that said, I have no questions. I have no trepidation. I have no issue with price. but I need to think about it.
You said that, or
No, they said this is what they
okay.
were saying to me.
Okay.
I was having a conversation about doing some business. So, Cory, I love it.
Right.
I don't have any questions. You've covered everything. I've been looking into this for a while.
Right.
Man, I thought it was going to be more expensive. I thought it was going to be a much higher investment.
Right.
Like, okay, all good signs.
Right.
But, it's my nature. I just gotta make sure I'm not making a rash decision.
Because you haven't been thinking about it for a long time. Like
Now you're talking my language, right? I mean, we'll have a whole other episode on what is pushy versus not pushy or whatever. But it's like, all right, what is it that you're thinking about?
Right. Exactly.
No, it's just something I gotta do. It's just something I gotta do.
Well, here's a coin.
Right. I
walk around with
So
most
I'm
of the
like,
time with a coin.
dude,
Right.
the train's leaving the station.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. That's a TBD. We'll see. Some people generally program themselves. I used to, when I would have automotive clients,
Right.
we would have we have our big event in the automotive industry, NADA, the big exposition, big conference, right? Where tens of thousands, everybody's there, and the big names, they get presidents and all these people to come in.
Right.
So I had a list of clients. Well, because a lot of times people love shiny objects and they love new, they love the idea. And there's a lot of great salespeople out there.
Yes.
So I had a list of my clients that I would, so first it'd be, hey, are you going to NADA? So check that box first. And then I had a list, and it was a key list of people who were instructed. And these are grown men,
Right.
but they were instructed. Do not buy anything until you call me.
Okay.
So I would literally spend a day or two running between booths. I was the ultimate. We don't have an explicit show here, so I won't use the explicit term. But I was the ultimate blocker.
Okay.
Like some of those vendors were not thrilled,
Right.
because I'd get a message, I'd get a text or a call, more call back then, where it was like, oh, Cory, I'm here, and they've got a special on digital signage.
Right.
And I just scream, no! What's the booth number? And I'm running down the hall. I'm running down the convention hall.
Right.
It's a huge convention hall.
Right.
And I'm like, what are we going to use this for?
Right.
Oh, I could put it in the thing and the service and the thing. What happens if we don't buy it?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Put that Amex away there, buddy.
Right.
So I was not a fan. I mean, I would like to think I was beloved in that industry, but there were definitely some people. I'm sorry, car wash guy, whoever was selling the car washes, and whoever was selling that side that day, I was not a fan, because I definitely blocked the show special.
Right.
Willie H., was there something coming? I thought it looked like something was coming there. All right, I digress. Let's get back to this. So let's get into the cons. All right, let's see what you got to say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a few at you.
Okay.
And then you pop in.
We'll run with
All
it.
right. So yeah, I'm gonna say a couple. One is risk of errors. So this is the idea that quick decisions can lead to mistakes.
So in this, but let me take a step back.
Yeah, go ahead.
In this episode, the pros and cons that we're talking about are being decisive, making decisions.
The pros and cons of decisive, yes, of being decisive.
Okay,
so we're doing the cons first.
Okay, excellent.
So a downside, basically, to being decisive,
Yes,
is you risk more errors,
correct.
because quick decision leads to mistakes,
Yes,
because you didn't get enough information.
sure.
You were like, man, this sounds good.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in my closet. Anybody that still has a DVD player that's looking for Chet Holmes International DVD, great content.
Yeah, it is great content.
But if you're looking, want to learn more about your Dream 100, you learn more about some of this, email me. I might. I don't know what that was. We might be able to do a deal.
Yeah,
I mean, not free,
right.
Because I paid a lot for that.
Right,
stuff.
but you get a quantity.
It was like
incentive.
6 payments of a lot.
Right, you get a quantity incentive. Though. You buy it all,
Yeah.
an
You get a
incentive
stack.
for
You gotta. I mean, obviously, you gotta have a DVD player for that.
Right.
So we agree with this.
I like that.
I mean, that's
yeah.
fair.
That's
Right. Now, I would argue though that you could I could get, because the question is, right, what is the bridge between decisive and indecisive?
Correct.
Like, what's the timeline associated with that? Because I could argue that I've collected enough information and now I'm going to make the decision.
Right.
But indecisive behavior would be still delaying that.
Right.
Because it's not like going rogue.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to give you two more and I'm going to let you,
Okay.
I won't let you touch them. Resistance to change.
Okay.
So being so decisive could lead to friction. And then the second one is stress and pressure. Constant decisive decision making can create a high pressure environment for owners and employees.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things, right? One is the con is taking, just not feeling like you never have enough information.
Mm-hmm.
And that contributes to not being willing to make a decision. The other thing is that people use the excuse of waiting to make a decision to overcome any type of emotional impact.
Yeah.
The reality of it is most of the time when you get enough information to make a decision, you've already decided ahead of time what decision you want to make. You're just reluctant to make it. Most of the time, people are making decisions to justify what they want.
I think about that in terms of firing people.
100%.
Like, you knew that person was bad
Yeah.
a month ago.
Right.
Or a week ago. Or a year ago for some people.
Yeah.
Like, some people are just sitting on it so much.
Well, and you feel like, it just, whatever you feel like, it's a feeling.
Right.
Like, I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Well, some people just aren't
like
confrontational. I'm not confrontational. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you should put your weak points out there, but like, I'm not confrontation. I mean, I don't like confrontation.
Right.
I don't know what the origin is. I don't therapists. Hit me up. Somebody, Willie H, we're going to have to start to do, we're going to get set up in the near future, folks. We're going to do call in. We want to take some calls or call out, get some advice. Maybe we beam some people in,
Right.
and get some advice on this. But put that, he loves when I add technical.
Right.
Thing. He's like, man, I'm already got 6 boards here. We got to give you all a shot of Willie H. Willie H has got his one arm over here. I mean, you can't, if you're watching this YouTube, you can see this, but just visualize me extending my arms out real far, trying to cover all these boards. But yeah, I really like that idea. We're going
to three monitors,
we'll beam some people in.
Cameras,
yeah.
And you want him to push
I like
buttons.
it. He loves it.
He
loves it. He loves it. He loves toys. Oh, well, that didn't. He loves digital video production.
He likes adding to the electronic masterpiece. There we go.
William.
I clarified that for you, Willie H. Yeah, he likes digital toys. No, he likes video production equipment.
Yay.
All right.
All right. So back to
we're on point
cons
one.
of decision making. Right.
We're 40 minutes in.
Right. That's
okay.
exactly
yeah.
right.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think people use waiting to make a decision because they think it protects them from making an emotional decision. And the reality of it is most of the time you've already leaned one way or the other to a decision. And by waiting, all you're doing is making yourself feel better. But
People are looking for a sign.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You know, when I woke up, I got a message. I got a DM from my wife, and it said my numbers are 444.
Okay.
So step one, that's a blessing because it wasn't 666.
Correct.
But 444, and that's prosperity.
Ah.
So I have been refreshing all day, waiting for some prosperity to come in. I'm checking my phone, looking for prosperity. I've been refreshing my email. Yeah, but I guess I got to put it out there. So anytime, 444. Yeah, anytime.
Exactly.
All right. So risk of errors, resistance to change. We had stress and pressure.
Yes.
Overlooking alternatives.
Oh, okay.
I'm guilty of this one.
Yeah.
As my team knows.
Okay.
You were lucky, Lon, though.
How's that?
Because, we use the same CR. I would have changed old Cory. I would have changed systems probably 6 times.
Okay.
But they love, so it's, you find a software, you're like, okay, great, we're using this. Okay, I think this is better. Now, in my defense, Willie H, though, hold on, Buckaroo. In my defense, we have had some software we have replaced certain software that is better. Right. Yeah. So we have worked for some stuff. So it's not just, but I can see sometimes it's always an improvement. We hope. Yeah. We're always an improvement. We hope. But I guess the statement here would be, had I waited or done a little more research, a company that we work with now, a subscription we have now, we could have had that to begin with instead of having to go through that process, I suppose.
Well, and here's the reality of overlooking alternatives. There is always going to be an alternative that you don't identify, period. Whether you keep looking or not, there is always going to be another alternative, another color, another feature, another benefit, something. The reality of it is you're never going to get everything right. And if you keep waiting to get everything right,
you know what you got to hit there, Willie H.
Voice of reason.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the other one.
When the church
Yeah.
Right. You can't. It's not humanly possible to get everything 100% right. It's just not. And so by waiting for, well, am I missing on something? Yes. And when you make the right decision, you're still missing out on something. It just doesn't matter.
Right.
Because you made a decision and now you're running with it. And that there's a saying, and I've heard a number of people say it, so I don't know who to give credit to it too. You can either make the right decision or you can make a decision right. And it's a lot easier to make a decision right once you make it.
I mean, Lon, you could have done what everybody else does. Just steal it. As I always said, you can either make the right decision or you can make the decision right.
As I've said hundreds of times.
As I said hundreds of times globally.
Right.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Potential for burnout. Like decision fatigue.
Yes.
Which is why some people just wear, black sweaters every day.
Right.
Right. It's like, I don't want to waste time on that. Let me get to the good work that I want to do. So just being burnt out by making decisions.
Yeah, it does. It can wear you out. And the longer you take to make decisions, the more it wears you out.
That's why you got to have self-care. Got to have a self-care routine.
That's right. Well, you got to, massage, steak dinner, glass of wine.
Lon's in there shaving his toes every week. It's very therapeutic.
I got nothing for
Work on those bunions. Work on those bunions. Okay. All right. Potential for burnout. Yes. And then the last one in the cons, I think we made this even, but in the cons, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Impact on reputation. So the idea here is consistently making hasty decisions.
Okay.
Because that's what is that? Is that an adjective? Hasty? Would that be an adjective? It's not action. It's not, or is that verb? Is that a verb?
It's an adverb.
Adverb? Okay.
Adverb.
Somebody will correct us for sure.
I'll get a note from my sister.
There you go. Yeah. Consistently making hasty decisions without thorough consideration can damage the business's reputation if they result in frequent errors.
Okay.
So it's an adjective? Okay, we confirmed it. I was right. And that's not an area. I was given oratory skills, not identifying grammar. I remember they were complaining one of Grant Cardone's first books came out, and he tells a story about how, he got all these notes that were like, there was this error and that error, and people marking up the book. Like somebody sent him the book with markups on it. And he said, I said it was a bestseller. I said it was a best-selling book, not a best-written book. Get off my phone. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, get off my phone with that stuff.
Did you buy that book? Thank you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Thank you for the $11.90. Thank you for the royalties.
Right, exactly.
So what do you think about that? Because you didn't see that one coming, impact on reputation. But I can see if you're making bad decisions.
Right. Well, that leads into this whole concept of confidence. And, confidence comes from making decisions and making good decisions. And I talk about, I talk about the only way to get good at hiring is to hire people. And so when I work with sales leaders,
right,
they're like, well, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. I was talking to one guy who told me, he goes, it's taken me almost a year. I've been interviewing for a candidate for a year. He goes, I think I'm looking for a diamond in a rough. And I'm like, you should be looking for a mirror, dude. That's on you. Because you got somebody feeding you candidates based on what you qualify. Right. My point in saying that is this, is the way to get good at making decisions is to make decisions. And you can't get them all right. So if you're worried about getting decisions right and worried about making the wrong decisions, you're going to have a really hard time getting better at it.
Gary Vee said you can't read about doing a push-up.
Right.
You got to actually do the push-up.
Right. Absolutely.
And to that, I say, shut up, Gary Vee. Don't be we don't tolerate body shaming at Grow Business.
Well, and, I've heard Dr. Kevin Elko say, you don't learn about the buoyancy of water by standing on the beach.
Exactly.
Same concept.
I like that idea better.
Yeah, because it doesn't require as much exercise.
Push-ups.
So but the reality of it is this, Cory, is that you want to make the best decision you possibly can. You want, and we'll talk about the pros of it, and this will bleed into the pros of it too, because there's again, we talk about an exchange. What are you giving and what are you getting?
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that you're never going to have all the information. So what you need to be able to decide is, what information do I have?
Right.
What information do I need? And what do I do next?
Okay. I like it. That's good stuff. Now let's flip it.
Yeah.
And what I love about why I'm liking this pros and cons thing so much is so much. Now, there are direct dumb things, right, that you don't want to do, right? I don't want to drive my car on the opposite side of the road.
Correct.
Right? That's not subjective.
Right.
But I think people take a certain level of gospel to things that really are subjective.
Okay.
Right? If I have an agency if I have a YouTube marketing agency,
okay,
I believe YouTube is the only way that you should market.
Correct.
Right? You're dumb for being on Facebook. You're dumb for being on LinkedIn. If I have a LinkedIn marketing agency,
right,
I think LinkedIn is the only thing. And that's my gospel. And that's the gospel I'm trying to spread to people, right? We see this online. Oh, you should do webinars. No, webinars are dead.
Right.
You should do challenges. No, challenges are dead. Right? It's enough to drive people insane. And I think what's important here to always remember, classic line, there's more than one way to skin a cat,
100%.
Right? As the saying goes. And the key becomes, right, finding things that, that maybe align with you. Sometimes that may be a values alignment. Right. That may be a level of comfortability. Preferring, right, video.
Right.
To written. Oh, Cory, I'm not a great writer. Okay, great. Put your message on video.
Right.
Oh, I don't really feel comfortable on video. Great. Record it.
Right.
Have an audio only podcast.
Right.
So it's about those different modalities in terms of doing that. So I just love this because it's like, all right, instead of doing an episode on why you need to be more decisive,
right,
which would have been easy to do, but I had lunch and I've got a nice flat white hair.
Good space.
Yeah. So I didn't, because this could have gone the other way. And the reason why I say that is because I talk to so many indecisive people on a regular basis, and there is a direct correlation, in my opinion, to what they're complaining to me about or what their opportunity for growth is or their breakthrough opportunity is, and the indecisiveness that they have shown.
Right.
Cory, we used to be number one in our market. I don't know what happened. I do. Again, stuff we talk about. Your website's 10 years old. I asked somebody the other day, and they're like, I don't know. It's been a few years at least. I said, I can take a guess. It says 2020 on the copyright.
Set it and forget it.
Oh, Willie H is
strong.
He's got some zingers coming out today. I didn't even know we had that.
Well, and
all voices need to be pre-approved by management. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, and I think this new format that we're going to try for the next few episodes, which I like a lot, this pros and cons, or
and give people, let them, instead of just preaching at them,
right?
Well, unless it's something I feel really strong about and I think it's stupid that you need to know, then you can count on the preaching.
And it's 4:30 in the afternoon. The last thing you ate was at 10. That's a whole different.
Today's episode is being brought to you by Cory's Mood.
Some days, but I think this decisive.
Everybody's got a boss like that.
We all do.
Everybody's got employees like that. Everybody knows somebody like that.
And we all are that at some point.
Yeah, complete your thought before you forget it. Go ahead.
So, but I think this episode is a great place to start because we're talking about decision making.
Yes.
And there are, again, everything's, there's a spectrum for everything. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about making a decision who you're going to spend the rest of your life with.
Right.
We're not talking about a decision that requires getting to know somebody and spending time together in whatever length you think is the right one.
Right.
2 weeks isn't.
Right.
So,
and we could be talking about a $39 app purchase.
Correct.
That somebody's sleeping on, praying on, talking to the dog about, talking to their spouse, their ex-spouse, their
and we all make decisions that
paralysis.
We all have things that we take longer to make decisions about, and we all have things that we don't even think about. Yeah. And sometimes, it's finding now that we're talking about business. Okay, what are some of the risks of waiting to make decisions, which we've just talked about? And what we're going to lean into now is what are the benefits of being decisive?
In my mind, somebody's listening to this right now going, can we get to the pros?
Right, exactly. Let's go. Right, and that's my people.
Can we get to the pros?
And they are my people.
All right, so here we go. Pros on my side of the street. But increased efficiency, right? Decisive decisions, speed up processes. Right. Reduce downtime and enable quicker responses, particularly to market changes.
Yes.
I know people who, there's different pieces of news that come out that can impact people. There was a big shakeup, with real estate recently and a change in terms. And, there were people that wanted to get out in front of that.
Right.
And then a week went by, then 2 weeks went by, then a month went by. And like, this is an opportunity. Like, that's a thing now.
Right.
When news comes out, you get people on YouTube 10 minutes later with a video.
Correct.
They call it newsjacking.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a formal, it's a Shep Hyken. I got that from Shep Hyken.
Oh, shout out to Shep.
Newsjacking. So, you take something, oh, great. Apple computers release blah, blah, blah. Hey, Cory Mosley here. I want to talk about the impact of Apple's new news. You tag that up, throw that on YouTube.
Boom,
a lot of people are getting a lot of traction. People are getting media interviews, getting called. Because when people are searching, boom, there it is. And then you just hope, it's good, it's correct news, right? Because we all know how that's a whole nother conversation. Right. So increased efficiency. I'm gonna give you two more, and then I want you to hop in. Clarity and direction.
Okay.
And competitive advantage.
Boom, clarity and direction. You can say no, and that's a decision.
Yes.
Because that allows you to move on to the next decision.
I've been told many times no about many things.
Well, I get no a lot, right? And I'm gonna.
And I don't like it anymore. I mean, Les Brown says, know your vitamin. I don't want those vitamins.
No, you can have your Flintstones. You can have
those vitamins are nasty.
That's exactly right. It tastes like
nasty nose.
They taste like those big penicillin pills. The reality of it is this, though.
How much penicillin have you taken? What have you taken penicillin for?
Well, when I was a kid.
Oh,
when I was a kid, you had
you're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, strep throat.
All right, go ahead.
But one of the things that you talked about is
what's in this cup.
Right, exactly. That's
what's
clear.
Clear could be deceptive.
That is water. Is brave water. So the ability to move on.
Yeah,
that is because being decisive allows you to do is being decisive allows you to move on to the next thing that you have to decide, because you will continue to have to make decisions in your business for as long as you have your business and as long as you are in business. And so the quicker that you can get to a decision, the quicker you can move on to the next thing that you need to do. And so like you talked about earlier, if you're sitting on an employee that you know is hurting your business, is hurting you more than they're helping you, and you continue to wait to address that. And whatever the address that means that not only are you stifling your business because that person's in it, you're creating an environment where you're saying, well, if it's okay for that person to do it, everybody else can do it too. And so what it does now is it not only does it delay the decisions that you get to make after that,
right?
Sometimes it creates more decisions that you have to make around that one. So the quicker that you can make a decision, the quicker you can move on so that you can get to the next thing. Does that make sense?
Voice of reason.
Yes, it does make sense. Move them in, move them out. That's what I heard.
Yeah, exactly.
No, get out.
Well, again,
no, I gotta, because it's funny.
Good.
Folks, this is why we need to stay off the internet. But it makes me think of, I'm sure I've sent this to Willie H, because Willie H gets 99.9% of the memes that I see online. But there's a skit where a woman is like trying to carry something, like from her car and carry it in the house, and then a guy shows up and he's like, oh no, let me help you with that, and he grabs it and takes it from him. She's like, oh, thank you so much. My boyfriend will be here in a minute. And then he takes it and throws it down and throws it down and kicks the stuff out of it. Because, here he thought maybe he'd have an opportunity. I mean, of course, it's an attractive woman in the video. So it's like, oh, let me help you with that. Maybe this can go, maybe I can turn this into something. Oh, no, my boyfriend's around the corner. Boom, throws her stuff down, kicks it all over the street. Like, why are you wasting my time with this?
Right, exactly. And of course, it's her fault.
Yeah. I don't know why. What made me think of that? I don't know. It was a good point you were making. All right.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, again,
increased efficiency, clarity, and direction. Did you talk about competitive advantage?
Well, the quicker you get to decision making, the faster you can move. And speed is a competitive advantage.
Yeah. Jay Bear's talking about that. Shout out to Jay Bear.
Yeah.
He's talking about that right now.
Perfect.
Now he says you don't want your tamale in 30 seconds. It's probably not a good you don't want your enchilada fast. Right. But you don't want to be on hold at Best Buy for 30 minutes either.
Right.
For things. So speed is kind of the new benchmark in a lot of ways for customer service.
Right. That's exactly right.
All right. So competitive advantage. Okay. We got 3 more.
Okay.
Boost confidence.
Yes.
So it becomes a way to display, strong leadership, which certainly from a team environment, leading a team is valuable, knowing that someone can make a decision and is swift. So boost confidence.
Can I stop you on that one?
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to go on to another.
Yeah.
This one is huge. The only way you're going to get better at making decisions is to make decisions.
Right.
By making decisions, you get more confident in making decisions. The people that are on your team, the people that are in your company, get more confident in you because they don't have to wait for you.
Yeah.
And the longer you take, the more it erodes their confidence in you,
right?
Which then erodes their confidence in the business. Thank you for letting me jump that route. But
yeah,
huge.
Yeah, 100%. Say amen. Yeah, let them. Yeah, confidence. And confidence is important in this game.
Huge.
Okay, the next one is opportunity seizure. Sounds kind of weird. I didn't write that one. Opportunity seizure allows for the quick capture. I know what they're saying, though. Allows for the quick or what they're saying here. Allows for the quick capture of emerging opportunities that require immediate action.
Yes.
Allows you to seize on an opportunity.
Correct.
It's the stay ready so you don't have to get ready idea.
That's fantastic. Absolutely.
Being able to do that. There was an opportunity that came about a week ago, and I was going to involve, it was going to involve a partner that had to have expertise in this certain acquisition opportunity.
Yeah.
And couldn't get, trying to reach out. Hey, we need to connect. We've got a short window, limited opportunity, could be good upside, based on some things they've said to me.
Yes.
Like I'm trying to bring an opportunity.
Like you told me
that's
you
like,
want
this is right, exactly. Like here's an opportunity, and and then everybody goes into too busy land, and then they wonder why they miss opportunities.
Right.
Or 6 months from now, they'll be sitting around they'll be telling people sitting around 6 months from now, going, oh, my situation's X, Y, Z, or I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. No, it was there. Boom, boom, boom. Can you hear that in that microphone? Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
The opportunity was there.
Yeah. 100%.
You didn't answer the phone.
Correct.
Jesus sent the boat. Jesus sent the raft. Jesus sent the helicopter. And you was waiting for Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
I don't like that one. All right. Seize your opportunity. Okay, let's do the last one and we'll get out of here. Resource optimization.
Boom.
Reduces wasted resources by promptly addressing issues and allocating resources efficiently.
Right.
Right? Like the delay
Yes.
makes it worse.
Right.
you
Costs
know?
money.
Yeah. Like you've got a leaky pipe in your house.
Right.
Not acting on it, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm going to have, now you got water damage.
Right.
Now you got to replace the floor. Now you got to, my toilet was making that the running noise.
Right.
And what I love about this is like, as Lon said earlier, you can be guilty of these things, but creating more awareness is the process of improvement.
Right.
I let that thing go on. Oh, I'll get to it.
Right.
But the consequence of that was my water bill.
Right.
Because that surge shot my water bill up.
Right.
And I'm getting ready to tell people they have to stop using the toilet in my house. I'm like, I don't know whatever is wrong with you people.
Right.
You need to go to the doctor. Why is this water bill so high? Because I didn't connect the dots.
Right.
I'm like, stop drinking water. Y'all need to get yourself examined.
Hold on, Buckaroo.
Yeah, why is this water bill so high? Showers, I'm putting the timer on showers, 7 minutes.
Right.
Get in there, get on, get off, get out, get it done. I'm looking for all these things. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what? It was that runny toilet I didn't take care of.
Same thing for
And
me.
now I'm paying, the pain of regret.
Right. My water bill was 3 times what it was the last 4 years.
Right.
And I called the water company. I said, "Is my meter right?" She goes, "Well, do this. Check your toilet." And mine was doing the same thing. I had a rubber gasket that was worn out.
Sealing it. Yep.
And it just continued to run. And I didn't realize that that's what it was.
Yeah.
She told me how to check it. Once I checked it, they came, got it fixed. And my water bill's back to what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, because yes, it'll cost you money. One thing I want to say, we talk about the pros and cons of being decisive. One thing I want to say that is going to make it easier for the people listening to this to be decisive is have a clear idea of what you're trying to accomplish and have a clear idea of who your ideal client is.
Yeah.
Because when those opportunities present themselves, you get to say, is this going to attract more of my ideal clients? Is this going to make me more competitive? Is this going to advance my business in a way that I want to? Having a clear identification and understanding of what those things are allow you to be more decisive, because now okay, this is directly going to positively impact my business, or it's not. And being a decisive no is just as good as a decisive yes. And
being indecisive, being indecisive almost cost me one of the greatest deals in the history of my business life.
Yeah.
Deciding to not go speak at an event.
Right.
Until the 11th hour of, sending in the stuff. And I wasn't going to go. It was, in Vegas. I'd been to Vegas a million times. 5-hour flight, whatever, 4-hour flight. Not a direct paid speaking opportunity. It wasn't a fee. I wasn't getting a fee to go there. It was, speak for business, as they like to say.
Right.
It was one of those deals, and I'd done it a bunch of times, and I'm glad I got some sense.
Well, what inspired that decision to go?
I don't. That's one of those great questions that sounds like a great opportunity to say something profound.
Right.
But, when I think back on it, because that was probably 12 years ago, I think, like most things I say, or I think about, like, what's the worst thing? Like, what could go right?
Right.
Or what's the worst thing that can happen if I go and I do it? I'm speaking for 45 minutes. What's the worst thing that can happen? Maybe there is something that can happen in the audience. And I can't tell you, I think people lie. And what I mean by, let me tell you what I mean by that. I think people say things and create things that speak to their narrative, right? So, like, I could have answered that question with, like, well, Lon, my pure optimism really is what drove me there and led me to believe that there's somebody in that audience. Because see, this sounds good. There was going to be somebody in that audience that can do business with me. And I just had a feeling that I was being led there, and I was being led into that audience, and I knew there was going to be opportunity for me. And just as soon as I thought that turned everything. Like, but that's not what happened.
Right.
I'm like, it's a breakout session. Right. It's not, man, you can't even give me general. I'm Cory Mosley. You can't even give me general session. I need the keynote. Right. So I'm going to go there for a 45-minute breakout session where there's 7 other breakout sessions. So you're fighting for audience. Like, these are the things, particularly those people in the speaking world or you're selling coaching, consulting, like that world. Right. Like, so now I'm fighting for a subset of a subset. Right. And there's probably no decision makers. Like, people don't admit to the level of negativity. Even if you're a positive person, you've been around me for a number of years. William has known me for 30 years. I'm an amazingly optimistic, positive person. Even when all the signs are I should be negative. Right. But there is nobody, if you're perpetually optimistic and perpetually happy and you never have a moment of like, this sucks or this situation could suck, I don't trust you. Right. Dr. Will Moreland, he posts these things online, and he'll say, if you didn't put sugar in between your bread, or whatever, if you don't put sugar in your grits, if you put salt to the sugar and grits, I don't trust you. Like, he's got a whole bit about all these things that right. So I don't trust you. Right. So the honest thing was, I love speaking. Right. So it was like, okay, it's another opportunity, and certainly there could be an opportunity there, right. But not. You got to do it. Right. So it was really more about the word. All it could be is upside. It's going to cost me money to go out there. Right. So of course I could, that's a factor, but right. That's a factor in any business. It's going to cost you money to right. do something or to step out there. And it proved to be one of the best decisions. If I had to pinpoint, there's a couple key, turning points I think about in my career. And that was basically one of them. So, right. Most of the corporate work that I went on to do for several years and Fortune 500 companies all came from doing that 45-minute breakout presentation at the event that I didn't think I wanted to go to. Right. But here's the thing that I will say is that was your audience. Yes. And that was a room full of your target. Correct. Whether you went thinking you were going to get business or not, you were still in front of your target audience. That is correct. If that was the National Teachers Association. Correct. If that was the Bankers Association. 100%. It wouldn't have even crossed your mind to go because that's not your audience. So by knowing your ideal audience, you at least had an opportunity to put yourself in a position where you had opportunity. Bankers out there, call me. Position for Growth keynote now available. Oh, you go. Well, I forgot about that. They need to get that. But back then, yes, right. To your point, when I was in a singular vertical. Lane, right. Exactly. All right, look at that. Moment of therapy has been completed. Yay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it up on that note. I hope you guys saw some value here in really playing those pros and cons. And, the goal always is to, and I say this even in presentations, is to get the mind moving, thought starters, action starters, right? We can't learn it all. You can't learn Spanish in a day. But 15 minutes a day for 2 years, right. You'll be good to go. And you've got to be thinking about it. So we really want to stimulate that mind. How do you make decisions right now? What camp are you in? Are you in the decisive camp? Are you in more of an indecisive person? But here's what I know. I know that you can't simply say, that's just the way I am. Right. That can't be the linchpin or the hill that you die on moving forward in a growth environment and trying to develop a growth mindset. Oh, Cory, it takes me a while to make decisions. That's just the way I am. That's a cop-out. Well, yeah. Excuse cop out. Yeah. Exactly. He was going to go deeper, but he's like, no, that's pretty much it. Yep, nailed it. Yeah, nailed it. Nailed it. That's just dumb. Yeah, that's just dumb. So that can be the answer for a lot of different things. So we encourage you to just ask yourself the question. We've explored the pros and cons. We're going to keep this line of conversation going because I think it's important. Yeah, make your own decision. And each of those decisions comes with their own sacrifices and results and pros and cons in itself.
100%. Yeah, I love this idea. It'll be interesting to see what kind of feedback we get from the audience about the pros and cons approach.
Yeah, love to hear what you're doing. Love to hear if some things have changed for you. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it there.
Awesome.
Sometimes you're looking for more words and you're like, nope, we're going to wrap it up.
That's good.
As always, we want to thank you. Lon and I both want to thank you for your continued listenership, viewership across all of our channels, Spotify, Google Play, wherever your favorite streaming service is, we are, as well as YouTube. We'd love for you to go there also. And yeah, I'm thrilled to announce also newcorymosley.com is up. Position for growth, how to have a proven strategy to create those record revenues that you're after. So I encourage everybody to go over to corymosley.com and check out what we got going over there. And who knows, I might be in a town near you real soon. LG007, thank you for joining us as always. Shout out to you on behalf of Willie H. We thank you, and we will see you on the next episode of the Grow Business Podcast. Willie H., take us out. All right, I like that. Pros and cons.
I like it.
Yeah. Why are you hiding the Braves thing? You can support your team.
Well, next time.
What is this, like one of those TV shows that makes you, if the advertiser doesn't pay, they put the tape over it?
It's like
You don't know this is an apple because I put the tape over it now.
You ever seen Ron White, the comedian?
I've heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ron drinks bourbon on stage and smokes cigars. And he drinks. There was a time, he may now have one, but there was a time where he didn't have a bourbon sponsor.
I see.
So he put his bourbon in a crystal carafe. And he would pour out of that. He goes, somebody asked me one time what bourbon I drink, and he goes, they don't pay me.